Hi there, I'm Amy from moonmindology.com, and today I want to look at the transits for September. Remember, if you're interested in having a reading with me, please go to moonmindology.com, and on that page you can book an appointment with myself. So without further ado, 3rd of September, Mars is in Gemini and it's square Neptune at 4 degrees of Pisces. So Gemini is all about communication, environment, media. And when Mars is here, there can be a little bit of tension as well as hot tempers, but this does happen every 2 years. So this on its own isn't majorly significant. What is significant is Neptune will be making an aggressive square aspect, and this can create a lot of confusion within the media whilst people get quite animated. There could also be violence reported as well as political movements that get a bit lively. But Neptune is the mist and it's going to cloud Mars, and I imagine this energy to somewhat being like someone with a blindfold waving a knife about blindly. Great idea. Of course, you know, like running around with scissors, this is very silly, but this is the kind of energy that you have, that I feel is going on here. But if you have any planets around 1 to 8 degrees of Virgo or Gemini, don't get caught up in media nonsense and think before you act. And if something makes you feel reactive, stop and think it through first. So 4th of September, Mars is going to be in Gemini and it's going to be quincunx Pluto at 5 degrees of Capricorn. And adding Pluto into this mix creates the potential for crime, police involvement, and problems with authoritarian-like people, but also corruptions as well. So there's like a mobster mentality here. But there can also be earthquakes, and it's so hot that there can be fires happening during this time as well. Also on the 4th of September, Venus is going to be conjunct Ketu at 13 degrees in Virgo, and Mars is really making an aspect to Virgo. So in combination with Ketu, it's very hot again. And this could be very quick, harsh reactions from law enforcement, fanatics. There can even be some fear-mongering or some scandal. And for some reason, burning effigies is coming to mind. There can be damage to services, and with Venus being debilitated here and so weak, you know, there can be an element of vulgarity, greed, self-obsession, and then you've got Ketu, which is the victim or the martyr. So these problems can crop up, and you know, there are a lot of groups that are self-indulgent and think they're being victims. It seems to be fashionable to be a victim these days. But I think that there's going to be something that does come to the forefront of martyrdom or something like this. But there are just so many aspects going on during this first week of September that it can serve as a trigger for something. And this combination of Virgo and Ketu, it only happens, you know, every 18 years. And outside of this combination, I don't know when the last time it happened, and also included Mars. So this is going to be really hot, really self-indulgent, and possibly expensive. But there we go, let's hope not. So 7th of September, Uranus is in Taurus and it's square Mercury at 3 degrees of Leo. And there's a lot of change, a lot of suddenness that's going on that could impact media and communication. So, you know, sudden events, but there can also be problems with public transport as well. In the sign of Leo, it's going to impact people who own stocks, the rich, and also the leaders of countries as well. So the sun is in Leo and that's opposed to Saturn, 21 degrees of Aquarius. And, you know, this isn't common in the grand scheme of things because Saturn's only in the sign once every 30 years and it sits there for 2.5 years. So the interesting part of this is Saturn is incredibly strong in Aquarius and the sun is very strong in Leo. So we have two enemy planets that are strong in opposition. And this last happened in August 2023. And what I noticed about this time is that there are a lot of wildfires and natural disasters. So there can be high profile deaths as well. But, you know, this may not be linked to anything major. It could just be a push-pull of energies, but it could bring in problems with natural disasters. Because they don't like each other, and they will fight, and they're both strong. So who's going to come out? Who's going to come out winning? You know, 21 degrees. I think maybe Saturn might be stronger, but we'll just have to see how that plays out. 15th of September, Jupiter is in Taurus, and it's trine Venus, 26 degrees of Virgo. So I've already said, Venus is debilitated, it's not positive, and it can express negative sides of itself. And Jupiter, it can expand that, but at the same time, it can also, it's the great benefic, so it can give a little bit of relief to Venus, but I don't think really anything overcomes debilitation, if I'm completely honest. So there can be a lot of high and low emotions, extreme emotions. People can view things in a very black and white way as well. And it can impact the stability of service as well as public health and the behaviours of law enforcement. 18th of September, Mercury is in Leo, opposed Saturn at 21 degrees of Aquarius. So there's problems with communication from the rich to their allies, and there can also be delays that impact public transportation as well as postal services. So this is a very serious combination, especially for communication. Things are serious. Then on the 18th of February at 3:36 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, we have a partial lunar eclipse, and the sun is going to be in Virgo and the moon is in Pisces at 1 degree. So this is going to create a bit of sensitivity for the next year, and it can cause events when things cross over that point. So this is active for 1 year, and Saturn and Rahu are going to be heading over that point within the next year, but I think that's going to be in April or May, so I will cover that near the time. 20th of September, the sun is in Virgo and it's opposed Neptune at 4 degrees of Pisces. And this is very interesting because there can be deception, delusion and confusion for a leader. And there can also be a tendency to lose hope as well. But the sun is in force and Neptune can be... the sun is force and Neptune can be mass delusion or mob psychology. So there could be a pushback from people against leaders, and there could be problems with crime in general, people being arrested, protests, concern for public welfare. And as Virgo is included, this highlights your services, police, so on and so forth. And, you know, it also covers alliances as well. So there could be confusion as to whether to follow a nation into a conflict or not as well. So 25th of September, Virgo is opposed Neptune in Pisces. So there can be some kind of misleading information or communication and problems with the media in general. There could be hidden secrets from the public as well. Pisces is so lit up that there can be problems with crime, punishment, so on, but Mercury is also powerful in its own sign, and communications can be really powerful, really significant, and there can be situations and confusion involving schools, public transport, postal services and borders with other countries as well. So overall, I think this month is going to be another one of madness. The first week could entail political violence, fear-mongering, scandals, sudden media events, wildfires, earthquakes, natural disasters potentially. I know that we have a lot of activity at the moment. I know Japan has been quite worried and has shut some things down out of fear for natural disasters. Then the second week, significant aspects, there isn't any really. So there could be more of the same going on, or it could be a little bit of calm. And then the third week, there's a high spell, there's emotions, high emotions. There can be incidents with the public services, police, and there can be impacts to communication, public transport. And then during the last week of September, there could be something going on behind the scenes that's not quite open to the public. There could be some confusion that to not only world leaders, but it can impact their communication ability as well. And there could be people that are arrested, involved with protests, crime, sort of like high profile groups of people, and there can be confusion with postal service, public transport, schools and borders as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week. Thank you very much. Bye.